welcome to our weekly webinar. Today will be a very interesting one because we will deep dive in the new Forecaster terminal tool, which is the political tracker, and we also have a look inside some very nice opportunity we have on the stock market all across the globe. So hello again. Hi, Sin. Hi, Eric. Thank you very much to be here. Let me share my screen so you can see. Also, we have something new on the tool because, as you can see, going here in the menu and selecting the US Gov tracker, you can find, look, positions, buy and sell volume, buy and sell position on the S&P 500. So in this case, what you are looking at is a chart of the S&P 500 with all the aggregated position, long and short. And this is something really interesting because until yesterday, what we could do was only to see every single position and every single situation, let's say, on a single stock. But now we can also have the big picture regarding the whole situation on the stock market, because as you can see here, you have the S&P 500 and here you have the aggregated buy and sell for all the shares on which the politicals are doing their trades. Okay, very interesting. And what we can say very easily, we can say that starting from the beginning of 2024, we can see that the politicals, the United States politicals, are only, let's say, selling, because look, they sold at the beginning of the year 126 million in shares. The Q2 2024, they sold 26, and in this quarter they are selling 24 million. And this is something interesting because actually what they are doing is selling no matter what. It means that the US political election that will be in a month are scaring the United States politician. Somehow they think it's better to sell their portfolio because maybe they see some turmoils ahead. Okay, what is interesting, as we saw last week when we presented this new tool, if we go directly to Nvidia shares, what we can see, for example, here, we can see that in the last quarter, during the Q3, $3 million of Nvidia share was bought. It means that politicals are just buying Expedia, not Expedia, Nvidia, nothing else. And this is something really interesting because thanks to this new feature, we can see how they are reacting to something, we don't know what, probably the election that will occur next month. But we also see that, for example, on specific cases like Nvidia, they are heavily buying. Okay, so this is something really interesting in order to understand what to do on the stock market. And in this case, the situation is really easy to understand. We are on the top of the market, and since the beginning of the year, politicians are selling their position, their portfolios. What they are buying is only Nvidia, and look, something interesting is happening on Intel Corporation, which is a stock which is not so interesting, but on this low in the Q4 2022 and on this low in Q2 2024, they bought. Because, for example, here we have more than 1 million of shares both. Okay, so it's something really, really interesting. At the moment, what I can understand watching at this new tool is that they are selling everything, no matter what. They are only buying cheap stocks. What they are doing is exposing their portfolio only on the next trend, which will be the actual and next trend, which will be the artificial intelligence wave. Okay, so this is something really interesting. Something else to see, do we have a real-time situation updated, is this guy, Darrell Issa. This guy sold a huge amount of United States Treasury bill. If you do the math, you can see this guy sold something like 100 million dollars in United States Treasury bill, which is a huge amount. This guy, very interesting, because is an American politician. If we go to his Wikipedia page, we can find something very interesting, because he was an entrepreneur in tech and he still sit in commissions regarding technological matters. So what we have to do is watching very carefully what he's gonna do with this money, because now it's liquid, okay? And we have to see, because probably he's scared about the situation, and this is why he sold his treasuries. He always supported Mr. Trump, but if we go to the odds checker, we can see that Kamala Harris is ahead now, and the probability say that Kamala Harris will win the election in 1 month. And this is something could be a problem for huge speculators like Darelisa, because we know Kamala Harris is looking for increased taxes, corporate taxes. Kamala Harris is looking for increased taxes also on profit in the United States, profit for speculations. So it's something really interesting is happening. I can't wait to see and watch this guy, because of course we have to watch him very carefully, because with so much money liquid, for sure it will invest in something, and it will be very interesting to the fact that this guy is an expert in technology, and is sitting in many committees regarding the technology and the also clean energy and all these kind of things. So we have to watch him very, very carefully. Okay. And of course, we will continue to develop this new tool, guys. We will soon have a specific page for every candidate, for every representative. And we will also have soon widget like the most traded, the most traded shares, the most long, the most short, the best choice for Republican, and that's it. So we are constantly investing in developing this tool, and of course we will invest also in other tools. So changing matters, we can go to see something really interesting which is happening in Europe. And thanks to this example, I will share with you a share which probably will give you us very good results in the future. So let's start talking about LVMH, which is a very interesting company in Europe. If we go, for example, here in the ranking page and we go to CAC 40, which is the Paris French index, we can find that thanks to the ranking page of the index, the French index, we can find that LVMH is the best choice for this bourse, okay, for this stock market. And if we go here, we can see that LVMH, which is the company that owns many brands, many luxury brands like Louis Vuitton, Marc Jacobs, many, Hublot, Agoir, Tiffany, many. This company owns many brands, okay? And actually, this company is undervalued because if we do the math with our different method of calculation for the intrinsic value, we can find that the shares are below their fair value at the moment, 67% below their fair value, and which is something really nice, really interesting, because this is a company which is running for the long term and not for the short results, and this is why it's very interesting. When we find such interesting situation with such interesting company undervalued, what we have to ask is it possible that this company is going to bankruptcy? And to give an answer to this question, we have the Altman Z-score, which is very interesting because tell us if the company has some possibility of going bankruptcy. But in this case, even if during the last 3 years the company stayed, how we can say, flat, on the share price was actually flat, because if we see the 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 chart, we can see that we are at the same level of prices from 2021. But as we can see, the situation is really safe because we have a 3.9 Altman Z-score, which means low risk of bankruptcy. Okay. We can also have a look to the Petrosky score, which is 8. And so this stock is to be considered strong. And we can also have a look to the Benisham score, which is a ratio that tells us if this company is rigging its financial statement. And look, this company is unlikely to be manipulating its earnings. Very interesting. Okay, so we have an undervalued stock, which is solid, no risk of bankruptcy. And if we go deeper, we can find the value generation. We can find a very interesting situation because look, we have here a feedback from the forecaster which tells us the company is robust. Okay, because we have decreasing number of shares, which means that the company did in the last year buybacks. They are repurchasing their own shares, which is something really good for us investors because the value of our shares increased if they buy back some shares on the market. And also the efficiency of this company is increasing compared to the sales net income, comparing sales net income, free cash flow, and gross profit to the number of shares. Okay, so this company is getting better and better and better year by year. Also, the shareholder yield is positive, so this is something that tells us that this company, even if in the last 2 years didn't do well on the market, it's increasing their power. Okay, so look what happened in the last days is something really interesting, guys, because look, we have the chart, and in the last week the share price skyrocketed a lot, and we are experiencing a very strong upward movement. And what we can learn from this upward movement, which is not something, it's something we called for a long time period, because we spoke a lot about this company also in this webinar, in our webinar, and we told everyone, look, this company is gonna skyrocket because we have strong fundamentals. And look, what we can see is something really interesting, because thanks to our Wyckoff indicator, we can see, and we saw, of course, even before, something really interesting. Because look, our indicator, which tell us if on a given financial instrument we have more buyer or sellers, told us something really cool. And this is that we had, since June, more buyers than seller, even if the prices of the share dropped from 700 euro to 573 euro. Okay. And this is something really interesting, because we can see exactly that during this period, our indicator just stopped it to fall in May, and starting from June, it started to do higher high and higher lows. And look, here we have exactly the moment where big investors started to buy the stocks. Look, we have a huge increase in volume. We have a seismic activity, as I always say in Italian. It's like what happened before an earthquake, you know? We have such a huge power which confluence here, look, and it's just matter of time, and all this energy accumulated here and during this period, as we can see from our indicator, okay, boom, explode and allow the share to skyrocket. Okay. Something really interesting, guys, is also you can find it also in the overview page, where if you take, for example, a 10-year period, okay, and you plot the net income on the chart, you can definitely find if a company has a upside potential. Because look, as you probably know, in the long run, stock prices goes where the fundamental of a company are. And this is the right example, because look, when a company, because of the short-term situation, get involved in a downtrend, and the pessimism start to stay on the share, okay, what we can find is an opportunity, because at least the share must stay where the net income is. And so this is why when we saw, which is that the company is undervalued, that the our indicator started to signal that more investors were buying than selling, and we saw also the increase in volume, we for sure understood that it was time for a turnaround. Okay. And this is very interesting. And of course, this is happening now with the LVMH stock, which is one of the most interesting shares we have in Europe. But at the same time, we can find, with the same method, some very interesting share in a similar situation. And for example, if I finding opportunity is very simple, because for example, if you go in the ranking and you go, for example, in the S&P 500, which is the most important index in the world, for example, you can find the best shares here, clicking on the best to worst button, And of course, for example, if we are talking about a huge opportunity, we can talk about the PayPal, which is a share we talked about before. But look, for example, if you plot the net income on the same chart, you can definitely say that we have an opportunity, because fundamentally speaking, these shares should be here at the top and not here on the bottom. But we already talked about PayPal. In the last month, we had something changed. We had a good return on the share. So today I would like to share with you another stock, another company, which in my opinion will skyrocket very soon. And we are talking about Lululemon. Lululemon is an is a Canadian company which, together with its subsidiaries, design, distribute, and retails athletical apparel and accessories for women and men. Okay, if we watch at this company, look, we have a share which is down from its all-time high a lot, because it lost almost 50%. But this is something really strange, guys, because look, if we plot the net income on the chart, we can definitely find a huge opportunity here, because this stock should be on the top, not at the bottom. And we are buying a company, at the same price of 2020, when, look, both the sales and the net income are incredibly better than 2020. We have a company which, talking about numbers, doubled from 2020, but we have a company which has the same prices. And this is something incredible, guys. Also, the fundamental analysis tell us that the company is a bargain. So, as always, we have to ask, is the company gonna bankrupt soon? Is it possible that this company is gonna bankrupt? And the answer at the moment is no, because look, we have a huge solidity. We have a 10.78 Alt1 Z-score, which tell us low risk of bankruptcy. We have a 7 Piotrowski score, which is fine. And this company at the moment is not bringing financial statement. We also have a nice, very nice, resilient feedback from the forecaster, because we have repurchasing of shares. This company is doing buyback. The efficiency is growing year by year. This is a very nice company, guys. And in my opinion, the only things why this company went so down in the stock market is because Nike, which is in the same sector, had some problem. Okay, this is very interesting. And just to be sure, we can go to the overbought and oversold page, where we can find something really interesting, guys, on this company, because starting from the end of May, we have our indicator, which in the same time, in the same period where the shares went down, look, started to doing higher high and higher lows. And as you can see on the minimum, we can find peaks in volume. This means something really interesting, guys. This company during the last month has been bought by huge investors. And we have the same situation we had a few weeks ago on LVMH. We have a very interesting company which is undervalued, and statistically speaking, we have more investors buying than sellers. And if we plot the net income on the chart, we can find a huge bargain. So this is why I would like to share with you today this company, because for sure I will invest in this company. And just to be completely transparent with you, I already bought some shares today at the opening of the United States session. Okay, so guys, let me know if you like this company, and guys, see you next week at the next weekly webinar. Then you can find all the previous webinar as always in our YouTube channel. So you can go and find our YouTube channel. You can find all the videos we had in the last weeks. And of course, I can share with you the last one, which is very interesting. We talk about insider trading, we talk about political trading, and we had, I mean, it's a very nice video, and it's very, very nice. Thank you very much, guys. See you next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.